Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of RaceSpotTV Friday Primetime here in the Touring Car Challenge. It takes us to the new on iRacing Watkins Glen for yet another sprint race here, Stefan. Well, it's myself and Stefan, as always, here on RaceSpotTV Friday Primetime. It's these races tend to be quite action-packed, and well, as we head to the Glen and head to the Cup layout in particular, we skip that pesky boot this time around, as we will get to see some touring car action, hopefully some close touring car action like we've seen throughout the season, Stefan.
Yeah, most definitely that's what we will see tonight. The most challenging part, well, that's most definitely how you're gonna manage that drop, because it is the all-important thing around here. Not much to do with the corners, but if you can stay in the drop and stay close to P1, you're gonna have a chance at this win, even if you're down in 10th place.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's hopefully going to get themselves stuck in here with regards to this race. As always here, we've, at least for the past couple of rounds, we've had decent representation in terms of which manufacturers we're going to get out there on circuit. This time, actually, we get a bigger complement of Audis compared to what we're used to seeing, but there's a smattering of Civics out there as well, and a few Hyundais. Funnily enough, the Hyundai's not the favoured car for this circuit, it seems.
Yeah, that is all down to the top speed of the Audi, which obviously is all important here, and the turning capability that the Civic has, especially important in the inner loop that we're seeing right now, and also through the carousel, because obviously the more turning you have there, the more speed you can carry through, and the Elantra with all its stability, not that important around Watkins Glen.
Yep, you want a car that's a little on edge, a car that likes to turn a little bit more here at this circuit. And, well, we're seeing the Audis towards the top of the order at the moment. The top 8 spots in qualifying are currently occupied by Audis, and well, drivers coming towards the end of their second of their qualifying laps here at the moment. So there's not all that much going on out there on circuit. We can check in with one of the drivers though, as we are currently looking at Andrew Lee, as his best lap time 1:17.8 in this session so far. He is the number 6 car, so you're expecting him to be towards the top half of the order. Hopefully the second lap is just that little bit better than his banker.
Yeah, right now actually quite a big spread, more than I expected. It's 0.7 of a second right now between 1st and 10th place. Coincidentally, Hart and Doble, 9th and 10th place right now, have the exact same time standing to their name. So yeah, it is a little bit more spread than around these very few corners that I expected.
So we see Andrew Lee head his way across the line. 1:17.461 is more like it. Actually promotes himself all the way up into 5th place here in qualifying for the moment. So that's a good lap time there from the driver of the number 6 car. He pulls it towards the runoff now as he has completed his allotted laps in qualifying. We're seeing Christian Tanato head his way out of the final corner. Of course, not going to complete this lap. He's going to bring it to a stop on the exit of the final corner. Who else is on laps here? I think this driver is Jose Delgado, heading his way through the final corner now. Number 16 car in the Audi. The Audis have been the favoured car here today. Top 10 cars now are Audis, and well, Delgado heads his way across the line. Does go faster, goes fast enough for 8th spot to make it a top 11 for the Audi contingent here. So yeah, there's in fact the entirety of the Audis that we have in the field, all 11 of them, take the top 11 spots.
Yeah, once again, that just comes down to the Audi just being that much outright faster. However, the Civic and the Elantra are very good in the slipstream, so expect those two cars to really catch up during the race to them, just because they then now can stick with them, and thus they'll be able to race. So this is going to be a very, very interesting thing, because obviously the Civics are going to struggle a little bit with overtaking. Yes, they have the draft, but they need to catch up that speed deficit that they have so that they can finally attack. So might have a little bit of look-sees into the carousel rather than in a loop.
Yeah, we'll have a little bit more of a discussion about that during the race, but qualifying for all intents and purposes is over. We're just waiting for that clock to wind down. 30 seconds left remaining. There's a question in chat saying, why no liveries again? It's because people have not submitted them to us. We explain it every single broadcast. We do not use trading paints because it's impossible for us to make sure everyone's paint follows our broadcast policy. So we don't get any very silly sponsors on our cars that might not be allowed with regards to the iRacing paint policy. So that's why we have to go through our own verification process when it comes to the paints, and well, paints aren't going to show up in broadcast unless people submit them to us. But there we go. Qualifying is over and done with, and rant definitely over about the paints. Let's take a look then at the starting grid for today's race. Let's have a look at it. Nathan Ames on pole position with Adicopa Lopez in P2. Manu Riolago is starting third with Carl Herzog in fourth. Andrew Lee starts fifth with Naveed Hussein in P6 here today. Javier Care in P7 with Jose Delgado in P8. Dong-Suk Park in P9 with Agancio Pap in P10. Mike Hart starts in 11th with Mickey Doble in P12. Looking further back, Miguel Paldo in P13 with Dominic Corta, and P14 with Martin Hobson. In P15, Christian Tanato, P16, and Chris Hill in 17th. Kevin Tapau, P18 here today. And the last driver on the starting grid will be Oliver Telgus from Scandinavia. He's in P19 here today. So that's the top to bottom of the starting grid then for this evening's event. Of course, these races very fast, very furious at times. And, well, it'll only be 15 minutes of racing here, but that 15 minutes of racing can very much be action-packed. As we're waiting for these cars to take themselves to the starting grid then to get this one underway, we'll get ourselves one or two more drivers up and ready, and then we can go racing for 15 minutes here, Stefan. It's, well, now one car waiting for the grids. That's P number 9, Dong-Suk Park, yet to take himself to the starting grid. I'll wait for him to do so, unless he wants to start himself on pit lane, which is, I guess, a valid strategy if you're expecting a lot of carnage through turn number 1 for the first time, and not even turn number 1. The entire first sector is a little bit like that. But with the clock winding down, everyone has gotten themselves onto the starting grid. We are about to go underway for 15 minutes of racing, touring car racing here at the Glen. Long hold before we get away. The green flag is out and they're racing down towards turn number 1. Is there going to be any big moves on the brakes down into here? Remember, cold tires as well. You see Manu Riolago and Adicopa Lopez fighting it out for second place through turn number 1. Riolago has a nose ahead on the way in towards the S's section, but they will remain door to door all the way up the hill there. There's a scrapping going on behind, almost a 3 wide behind as well between Herzog and there might have been a big incident. Yes, there is. That scream cued me for it, Stefan. There's carnage in the S's.
Yeah, there's carnage, big carnage, and it was the 3 wide that started it all off. And look at this, many cars out already, few tires already missing off of them as well. So safe to say that about half the cars that entered that crash are not gonna exit it.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a look back and see what happened here from a bit of a better view, I think, because I think we missed half of that incident.
Goodness.
As we'll see, this is the situation behind the leaders that sort of triggered all this. There's Herzog on the insides there to take some push out a little bit too much. Ooh, yeah, that car in the middle just got sandwiched between two, and look at the carnage behind. There's no runoff to try and escape here. You're just going to have to try and pick a line and somehow get your way through. Ooh, people came hot into that as well.
Yeah, and you know, the issue also is a little bit here. Obviously in iRacing you have the green flag on your display, and so for the first few corners you're also not gonna get that yellow flag, and so I think people were blindsided because of that fact that they didn't see that yellow flag and weren't able to react. Also because obviously on the inside there's that big barrier, you're not gonna be able to see over that.
So back into the live racing action. We had a couple of replays of what went on all the way back there, but we've got 13 minutes to go. You can see, as a result of that incident, the top 3 have been able to break away. So Nathan Ames, Adicopa Lopez, Manu Riolago, three cars that have broken away at the very front. Dongseok Park, he gained a lot out of that in that bright pink Audi. He's up to 4th place now, and well, he's got Andrew Lee and Jose Delgado behind him, and Lee, well, he pushed out very, very wide there, coming through the right-hander, loses a little bit of ground, and Delgado might be able to capitalize on this one around the outside towards the final sector, but gonna back out of that situation. The Cup layout here, there's only a handful of corners here, and not too many of them available for overtaking, shall we say. Your main opportunity is probably down in towards turn number 1 and probably down in towards the carousel as well.
Yeah, turn 1 and the inner loop, that's the chicane before the carousel. Those are your two main passing opportunities. You're not really going to do anything into the penultimate corner. Although, if you're desperate, you can most definitely go for a move right there, but it has to be very well planned, and probably you have to be already a little bit side by side out of the carousel. So for P4, it's going to be once again a fight between 3 Audis as they try to hang on for dear life to the draft of the top 3.
Yeah, well, top 3 about 2.5 seconds ahead of them at the moment, so that's a lot of ground to catch up in so few laps that these races have, well, have to go. So Dongseok Park, maybe it's just the case of hanging on to P4 instead of trying to go and chase ahead and go for a podium spot. And, well, Andrew Lee is giving him a good run for his money at the moment, getting a good launch out of the carousel. I mean, down into this braking zone, potentially there might be a thing, but it's not a deep enough or heavy enough braking zone or a tight enough radius corner to be able to make a comfortable pass into there. It relies on the car actually ahead of you making a mistake out of the carousel so you can get alongside.
Kind of interesting that Jose Delgado is able to keep up this nicely with the 2 Audis in front of him, because very wide-eyed guys have already spotted that on his left side, driver left side it is. He has damage. That light is out of commission, so yeah, even though he has this damage, very nicely able to stick up to these guys. And yeah, I don't know, he is keeping up, but it also seems like he is losing time, so gonna be interesting to see how it evolves for him in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's tricky when you have any sort of aerodynamic damage at such a power-dependent track. And, well, you can see, actually, I just spotted Andrew Lee's right-hand wing mirror is hanging on a little bit. Yeah. So he's had a little bit of a whack there at some point, but that's not too unusual in touring cars, is it?
No, that is standard procedure for any door mirror. Like, honestly, if you have a mirror that is still properly attached to your car, you have done something wrong in touring car racing.
Yeah, I think so as well. So, you know, contact is the expected thing here. Not obviously deliberate wrecking out, but a little bit of a bumper bang, a door bash here and there is all good in this sort of racing. As I'm seeing the car down towards pit lane, that's Miguel Paldo, who has decided to come down in for some reason. I think the only reason that you'd come down in this sort of race is to just try and get some damage repaired, because it's something that happened earlier on in the race. Let's have a look then towards the very top of your field, because they've been pretty quiet so far in this race, but I doubt they'll be so quiet when we get into the dying moments of it, when all is on the line and the order of the podium is certainly undecided. Is Adigo Balobas going to go for a move here into the bus stop? Well, he showed the nose, certainly, and well, now we got lap traffic behind them, actually, so I think they might have just dealt with that one and it bunched them up a little bit.
Yeah, it does seem so, but the good thing is for these 3 as they take a very lenient line out of the carousel. They didn't really lose any time to park in behind. He is still 3.5 seconds back to them, so no pressure from behind with that lap car at Delta as well. But in case you're wondering why are they so lenient with these off tracks right now, well, basically it's a 50-minute race. You're only gonna get in 14 laps of racing, and so obviously 16x you're allowed. They are gonna go ham on that, because they can allow themselves all those off tracks without having any issue with running into the incident limit.
Yeah, there's well, I think that's Paul Smith's favourite topic. I did see him in the chat earlier on. Don't start a track limit discussion with Paul Smith, because you get him ranting for about 2 hours on the topic. I mean that in good faith, Paul. But
hey. I mean, Daytona 24 last weekend, we ran up to 99 incident points, and we used them in the last hour. So when you have the ability to use your off tracks, go use them. That's what they're for.
So change of race leader, by the way. Lopez was able to make that pass into the bus stop that time around as they decided to use all the track and a little bit more on the exit of the carousel. Again, yes, I know. But yeah, Copa Lopez leading now. Of course, Copa Lopez is no stranger to these RaceSpotTV Friday primetime races. No matter what series we decide to broadcast, it seems like Copa Lopez wants to have in on it, shall we say. He enjoys the strong strength of the field, no matter what car is the focus of this particular season. It's great to see him be able to go fast in any machine, shall we say. Very multi-talented driver. There's a big look for Manuel Realago behind, but no sting in it whatsoever down towards turn number 1 with 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, let's be honest. Copa Lopez loves the camera, and the camera loves Copa Lopez. So great to see him be in this race and always be in the races. As once again, a little bit of a bump draft. Maybe there's gonna something happen into the chicane. No, actually sticks behind him. So very, very interesting how all of this is gonna play out in the last 6 minutes, as there was a little bit of a move in behind for 6th place, but also that didn't play out.
Yeah, Dom Park is able to hold on to that one. He's remained in P4 for the majority of this race, basically after that huge incident that we saw that was triggered by an altercation for 4th place and back earlier on in the race. He was able to pick his way through first and relatively unscathed, and look at how it's benefited him. So Dom Park in 4th place, Andrew Lee 5th. We've got Javier Carre in P6. Let's have a look actually at the positions gained on the right-hand side. You can see, there we go, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Park up 5 spots, largely due to that lap 1 incident.
Yeah, but you still have to be there, and that's exactly what Park did. He was able to get through all of that mess and gained 5 positions. Also Colton up 6, and then you have Powell in 11th place. The 17 car up 7 positions. So very great start by these guys, and to be honest, we see a lot of green arrows in the top 10.
We do. We really do. And, well, we might even see some action towards the front in the not too distant future, because these guys, well, they're pushing each other along for the moment, but I think that's only going to be the case for the next couple of laps. In the dying moments, in 2 to go, 1 to go, that's where everyone's going to try and pick their way through and try and shuffle this order for the top 3 in their favor. We have no idea what Manuel Realago has planned from 3rd place. He's just sitting behind, waiting in the wings, waiting for an opportunity. You've got to also formulate a plan in your head for the final lap as well, especially in this sort of race where the switching is a bit powerful down towards the bus stop. Of course, not so powerful in general for these cars, but it's certainly a big element.
Yeah, it most definitely always is a big element on a track like this. Any draft is better than no draft. And so that's why we see these guys mostly sticking together in the top 3 as well, because obviously as soon as you drop out of the draft, all of a sudden a huge wave of drag is going to hit your car that you didn't experience earlier, and so you basically stop in motion right there and then. But there is a move a little bit.
Oh my word, that almost ended in tears. Copa Lopez still leads into the bus stop though, but Nathan Armes got into Lopez's left rear and almost turned him down the straight. That was close.
Yeah, that was extremely close. My goodness, that could have been a huge one for our 3 leaders.
Yeah, look at this. Armes trying to get the side draft basically, and I don't know how they've held on to that. I mean, there's a touring car special with regards to nailing the throttle and keeping it pointed in a straight line, but even then, that was close. And we still got 3 minutes of this, Stefan.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit scared about these next 3 minutes if they're already starting to heat up like that. Also, there was a little bit of a crash that we missed for P7, a little bit of a similar incident, but one of the cars that actually hit the outside barrier. All cars were able to continue though for that position. So yeah, it is starting to heat up. People are getting ready for the last fight, for the last position.
Here we go then, side by side down the back straights. There we go. You see Ames pushing Manuel Lago to the front. Ames will have to try and fight it out for second place though from Copa Lopez. Copa Lopez drops back into third place, so 2 positions lost in the space of 1 straight and 1 corner. You can see Lopez flashing the lights behind as well. He's not too happy about how that was negotiated. It's caused all 3 of these guys to spread out just a little bit, but still within the effects of the draft. We're on lap number 20. We're expecting 12 laps here, Stefan. So not too long until the end of this one. We're going to get 2 minutes to go across the line.
Yeah, they now spread out a little bit. That might be devastating for the chances of Copa Lopez right now in third place. Already a second back from your leader, flashing his headlights there a little bit also to a mess. This could be very great for Olargo because obviously yeah, the run to the inner loop hasn't been that good for a mess.
It hasn't, and there's another flashy light situation from Copa Lopez behind. He's still going to have an extra lap after this one to be able to get it done, so he's not completely out of this one yet. He can sit behind and get the double toe down the straight, and of course it all depends on what happens for P1, P2 here as well, because Ames is continuing to push Olargo down the back straight. He's not going to make his move just yet. He's in second place, probably one of the better seats in the house here coming on to the final lap, because you do have that option of making the pass happen down into the bus stop, but it's still risky leaving it until so late.
Any pass is risky, and Copa Lopez continues with the headlight flash, so very much not happy about something there.
Yeah, definitely not happy. We're riding on both Copa Lopez because he has been able to reel in that gap thanks to the double draft, and well, he's in contention for this final lap. It will be 40 seconds to go across the line. That's confirmation of the final lap. You can see Ames looking to the inside into turn 1, just a show of the nose. He was never going to make a move there. If he was, well, that would be pretty idiotic. Look how wide he goes off the circuit, though, back side by side with Olargo. Olargo still ahead through the S's section, and how does Copa Lopez factor into this one? Coming onto the back straight now, Ames going to get up behind Olargo to push him along the circuit, but we're not friends anymore, are we? As he's slowing down, he slowed way down. That was a slow down penalty. There were 3, but now there are 2, as Copa Lopez looks around the outside at the first part of the bus stop, still not quite alongside. Olargo holds on, and despite serving the slow down penalty, Ames is still in this one, somehow, through the carousel for the final time. Ames, I think he might have a little bit more to serve as he drops off the back of them once again. Out wide through the exit of the carousel they go. Copa Lopez is going to look for a line into the final sector, but if you ask me, Olargo is pretty safe at this stage. He has 1 more corner to go, and he will be the winner here at Watkins Glen. Olargo has held on to this race lead in a stellar fashion on the final lap. Manuel Olargo will come across the line to win here at Watkins Glen in a stellar finish.
Yeah, and it could have been all over for Manuel Olargo in turn 1 in the last lap, because he also got touched by Ames there, and he was right outside. We weren't really able to catch that on our cameras because of the way we looked at that car, but great performance, jumping on the train when he needed to and used it to perfection.
That was a fantastic race. We thought things were going to get to that point, but you never quite know until the very end. It was all relatively calm at the very front until the final handful of laps, and then that happened. My word, Ames pushing out so wide as well through turn number 1. That's going to, got the slowdown penalty. Couldn't quite serve it in time to be able to make a move in towards the carousel. And of course, Copa Lopez, try as he might, he couldn't get it done on Olago either. The P1, P2 finishers side by side here on the cooldown lap, congratulating each other on a race well done. And that was a race well enjoyed by us here in the commentary booth and, of course, everyone at home. Thank you very much, everyone, for the interactions in the YouTube chat. But let's have a look at your official race results. Manuel Olago wins from Adecopa Lopez by just under 0.2 of a second. If Messi does come home P3 despite that slowdown penalty. Dong-Suk Park, well, he held on to P4. That was the battle in the background that sort of was overshadowed by the top 3 situation. So great job for Dong-Suk Park to be able to come home P4. Andrew Lee in P5. Jose Delgado in P6 with Dominic Corton P7. Mickey Dobel in P8 with Against You Pap in P9. And Javier Care rounds out the top 10. And then the second half of the fields, Kevin DePau, Christian Tanato, Olivier Telgus, and Martin Hobson, Mike Hart, Carl Herzog, Chris Hill, Miguel Paldo and Naveed Hussein will round out the 19 cars that took the start. A lot of those, as you can see, had problems over the course of the race. Naveed Hussein was actually the only retirement that we had today. So with that, after a bombastic race and a bombastic final couple of laps there, Stefan, we have our race done here at Watkins Glen, but don't forget, this season still has a good couple more rounds to go. We head to Oran Park next week for round number 8, and after that, Lime Rock Park, Donington Park, Alton Park, and Laguna Seca. No parks for the final round, unfortunately, to make that run. But yeah, Stefan, Oran Park next time out. That's going to be an intriguing one.
Yeah, the track turned real estate, sadly, in 2009. Still lives on in iRacing and glory down under racing. Can't wait for Oran Park. It's a great track. It's an exciting track. Sadly, we're not on the Grand Prix layout, but still, I'm really sure of it. We're going to have, once again, some very great racing because it is touring car racing after all.
Yep, I think so too. This season seems to deliver time and time again, but that is all that we're going to have time for here for RaceSpotTV Friday primetime with this touring car challenge. That was a great race at Watkins Glen, but join us same time, same place. Myself and Stefan will be there for the touring car challenge at Oran Park. You don't want to miss it, but for now, we'll have to say goodbye.